I remember my dad meeting me in the parking lot, and he said, bud, I'm not going to tell you if you can or can't quit. You can quit. But just know, here's what I want you to know. I want you to think about this one decision. These are the people you've been committed to. For 8 years, you've been playing sports with them. You said yes to this team. And when you walk out on this team, you're walking out on the people that you have said yes to for the last 8 years, the commitment you've made for the last 8 years. And you can do that, and I'll support you in that, but you have to know that you're going to have to live with that decision, that you walked out on your team the moment it got really hard. And he said, I'm going to love you no matter what. I'm not going to love you any less, and I'll walk out of here with you, or you can go back in there, you can suit up, and we'll walk out on the field for senior night. But it's up to you. But I will say, if you choose to walk out, it's your choice. You got to own that, nobody else. And I remember that because I walked back in that locker room and I didn't quit. And I'm so grateful I didn't quit. I got the most playing time of the season that night, and then I played the rest of the year. And what stuck out to me was because I was prepared to say, well, my coaches aren't treating me well, and they didn't give me my spot back, and they this and they that, and I just want to play, and I've worked hard. And I remember him just simply in a loving way, not rude, just directly saying, it's your choice. You're going to make it. You're going to live with it, but it's nobody else's. Yeah. And I think that really stuck with me, Matt. And so as you say that, I realized what I wanted to lose weight. I wanted healthier relationships. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to start a company. I wanted all these things. We all want that. Those are actually results. They're not the thing. It's a result of the thing, right? The thing is, first and foremost, the commitment and the decision, and then the hard work that is in between. And I know that is a very hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, myself included. It was equally as hard, but I just knew that what I've been doing the last decade doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so I'm either going to make that decision, go through hard, and really become someone else in the process. And outside of choosing to commit my life to the Lord and marrying my wife, probably the biggest decision I've ever made.
So Levi, there's a principle there, and I just want to try and sum it up as you continue to share your story. When your desire to succeed, to move, to take action for betterment, whatever the case is, when your clarity, when your mission, when your end goal or the result that you talk about outweighs the desire to stay comfortable, that's when the shift can happen.
Yep.
And that's hard. And that's challenging. So Levi's sitting here now, you walk a half mile, you use your inhaler and everything, and you say, what can I do? Well, I can go a little bit further. Can you give us a brief summary of what happens as you work towards accomplishing this goal?
Yeah, so I surrounded myself with good people. So I had a friend, Luke Shemansky, have to give him credit. He had just done two in a row, and he just as a friend he would follow me on Strava. He would coach me up on my runs. He would tell me to train slower, race faster. He would call me. I remember I connected with the guy who was a professional cyclist who kind of did what you did for a long time, Jared. His name was Gene, and he would go ride with me. He would teach me how to charge hills. He would just I had to be taught, right? So I was a sponge. I was like, I'm going to learn by doing, and I'm going to learn from people who've done this. I had a friend named Sam Barnes, whose dad was he was a swim team coach, and he swam his whole life, and he had just done Ironman as well. He met me in the pool. He taught me some techniques that made me just a really good swimmer, and so I really committed to the process, committed to learning, and over the course of that year, I'll summarize it. I also decided to go back to college, so I went to Northwest University, which is a private Christian college in Kirkland, Washington. I took a full-time job, so I was waiting tables full-time. I was training 20 hours a week, and I was taking 18 credits at school. So I went from somebody, and why I tell that, I always share that, and it's not like, oh, look how much I was doing. It's because I was the kid who didn't want to do anything. I would get out of any responsibility. I would have the easiest job, and then I would just go play and hang and have fun. And I went from that to saying, okay, part of this isn't just finishing the race. And in fact, finishing the race is a result. What I want to do is become someone different in the process. So I need to build the habits and the discipline of just doing hard things. So I went back to college, was working full-time job, training 14 to 20 hours a week. I remember I would get up at 4:30 in the morning. There was a swim club called the Samina Swim Club in Bellevue, Washington. It was an outdoor pool. It was the fall. It was freezing. And I would get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'd be in the pool at 5. Class started at 7:30. Everyone else on campus is asleep. I would warm up. This is kind of funny. I'd warm up for the cold pool in the sauna because it was like, I'm like, dude, I gotta mentally prepare for this thing. But man, I would do that every single day. My roommates would come home and they'd be, eating pizza and going out and watching basketball games and hanging out in Seattle. And I would have my bike trainer set up in the living room, watching like triathlon documentaries on YouTube, doing 2 to 4 hour training rides on my trainer. I mean, we're talking 60 to 80 mile rides in the evening. It was commitment. It was hard, and there were many times that. I asked myself, what on earth am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? However, every day I got better. And I don't just mean better physically, because that happened too, but making those hard decisions became a little easier. It was no longer, I didn't have to force myself to eat a certain way, say no to certain things. It just kind of became who I was. So the process was working. It was forming a completely different person, which is like the compound effect in business, right? Or in life. It's like as we see more progress, it's like this snowball. That's exactly what happened. And I'm going to fast forward to the week of the race, unless you have any questions, Jared.
No, let's get to the race.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Okay. So I have been training in Kirkland, Washington. My family lives in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Okay, so it's about 6 hours away. I had seen them maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the course of that roughly six to 7 months. When someone leaves, they kind of freeze in your mind the way that they left, right? So the way they looked and everything, and then you see them and they look different. You're like, what? So I remember coming home. It was about 10 days before the race, and I see my parents and they're like, Bud, oh my gosh, you look great.